Toni Storm recently made her AEW debut, but it was 7 months ago, less than a week after wrestling Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship on TV, that she was gone from WWE. Her match with Charlotte aired on Christmas Eve. A few days later, she wrestled a triple threat match at a live event against Charlotte and Sasha Banks, and then she abruptly flew herself home. And the very next day, she was granted her release. Now, how often does that happen? That somebody just decides, you know what, I want to leave, I want my release, and they just give it to them. I mean, that sounds amazing, right? I mean, I don't want to be here anymore, I want to get my release. Okay, here you go. How often does that even happen? Not very often. So the whole situation was very bizarre. Why did she leave? Why were they so quick to give her her release? We didn't have any answers. And she has stayed mum about the exact reason why she left. Until now. She's done 2 interviews, one with Renee Paquette on her podcast and one with Chris Jericho on his, and she has finally shared the real reason why she quit WWE. The reason that was reported at the time, I think it might have been from Meltzer, he was saying that the talk within the company was that it was burnout. In her interview on Talk is Jericho, she said burnout had nothing to do with it. That was made up from somewhere. It was not burnout. She was spending most of her time backstage and catering. There wasn't much to be burned out on. She said it was just a case of her being unhappy. In her interview with Renee, she said that she had some good times in WWE, that it was cool at one point, and then it wasn't. Things changed. And she didn't want to have anything to do with it anymore. She said, my main goal in wrestling was to be on Raw or SmackDown, main roster WWE TV. And then I got there, and I figured it out pretty soon. I realized that this is just not going to work out. But also, I'm 26, and I want to have a really good time in this job. I want to have a really good career, and I want to enjoy part of it, and I just wasn't enjoying it for so long. I abruptly quit. I woke up that morning having no idea that I was going to quit. And she also cited the frequent talent releases as a contributing factor to why she was so unhappy in the company. She said, let's face it, they just fire people left, right, and center out of the blue. I could be fired next week. And then it's like, what's the point? It just felt very pointless, to be honest, and it's hard to convey that, especially to fans, especially to people that just aren't in the business and will never understand. I'm not mad. I'm not angry at WWE. I don't have anything against them. It just wasn't the fit. I'm sure they've got bigger fish to fry than me. Why did they care? People get let go from that place constantly. People move around constantly. It doesn't matter if I'm there, but what matters is I'm not having a very good time. And she talked about the day that she quit. She said, I had built up frustrations with the place for a very long time, like a lot of people do. They don't give a shit, so why should I? This isn't going to work. I know what's going to happen here. I'm just going to get sent back to catering again. I'm not going to succeed here. I can just see it. I know they see me as I'm such a kid and I'm such a newbie and this, that, and the other. But I like to think that I've been around wrestling long enough to know. I just know what's right and what's wrong for me and what I like and what I don't like, and I just didn't like it in the end. I didn't feel that appreciated, and I just felt like they, at times, didn't have very much respect for me. I feel like over time, they just crushed my love for pro wrestling. It just wasn't even wrestling anymore. You're not even allowed to say wrestling. I thought my whole purpose in life was to go to WWE, but then over time, I realized it's just pro wrestling that I love. It's not a company that I love. How many times over the years have we heard that from people there? That WWE crushed their love for wrestling, right? They left, they had to go away, and then it reignited their passion for wrestling, or they rediscovered their love for wrestling. That WWE, their time there, the way the system is and everything, it just made them hate wrestling. It made them hate what they do. I mean, it's gotta suck. Working your whole life to get to one place, thinking that they're the end-all be-all, and then you get there, you've worked your whole life for this, and then you realize it's not all that it's cracked up to be. For some people it is. It's not all bad. Some people love it in WWE. Some people figure out how to game the system. But for others, it's just the opposite, and it makes them grow to hate it. And how many of those people stay there anyway? because it's WWE, right? It's the biggest game in town. Or they think that, well, maybe things will get better, right? Maybe things will get better. Or maybe they do it because the paycheck is good and they don't want to give up all that money. How many people have worked for WWE, even if they didn't have a lot of success, they end up getting fired or they quit or whatever, but they thank WWE because guess what? WWE helped them buy their first house, right? Everybody has different reasons for why they go there and why they stay there, even if they're not happy. So many people, I'm sure, are still there. But so many people have come through WWE, and we've heard this time and time again, but they stay, they settle, they keep their mouth shut. Toni Storm didn't do that. Toni Storm said, I'm not happy here. I can see this isn't going to work. I'm clearly never going to be happy in this place. Fuck it. I'm going home. I respect the hell out of her for it. She could have stayed there for another 5 years, miserable. Collect the paycheck, just show up, do what you're told, and then get cut one day and end up doing a shoot interview on the company after she leaves. But instead she said, look, I don't hate WWE. I hold no ill will towards the company. It just wasn't the right fit for me. So I'm going to leave now because I could tell that this is not going to change and I'm just wasting my time here. And to their credit, they let her go. They didn't fight it. They released her. They could have said, no, you have a signed contract. We're not going to let you go, because they had to know that she would end up going to AEW. I still am puzzled by why they gave her release. I'm glad they did. But I am puzzled by why they were so quick to give this woman her release when they are anything but for other people. So they let her go. Again, they could have pulled a Mustafa Ali on her or a Luke Harper and held her over, and they didn't do that. But in her Talk is Jericho interview, she talked about the situation that led to her breaking point. And listening to this is just fucking maddening. So credit to WrestlingNews.co for the transcription on this part. She said it was Christmas time, and I had about 5 shows. A big loop, I think. It was Tampa, Orlando, DC, Baltimore, Albany. I'm ready to do this shit. I booked everything, and I'm ready to go and start working. Christmas Eve, I get told, you're just on one of them, just Tampa. Fine, whatever. I go to Tampa, I don't have a match. It's running around and doing the 24/7 title thing with Dana Brooke. Fine, okay, cool. Shit happens. It's Christmas time, it's busy, I get it. The next day, I get a phone call in the afternoon saying, you realize you're on the show tonight, right? No, but I'll be there. I had a feeling it would happen. I go, I wrestle Sasha and Charlotte for the title. Cool, we're moving. Following this is that 3-day loop. I was told and confirmed numerous times with numerous people, you are not on this loop. I'm up all night regardless. They're going to put me on it. I know they're going to put me on it. They're going to put me on it. I'm going to be ready. 6 a.m. comes, I don't hear from them. I get on with my day as normal. I go to the dentist around 11. I'm in the chair, tubes in my mouth, my phone starts going insane. They need me to be on a plane in 2 hours. How do you say no? You can't say no because you get heat. You're backed into a corner. I have to do this. I actually want to do this, but it's been made extremely difficult for me. I'm pulled out of this chair, I race home, grab my things, get to the airport. There's then pent-up frustration. I get to the show, it's halfway through the show in DC. I get there, I do the match. I still can't put it into words. The overall frustration, the lack of respect for my time and my effort. I want to give this my all and everything, my whole life. I want to give it to all of it to you guys. But you're making it friggin' difficult. I lost it and I quit. I told them I'm so unhappy I need out. I just quit. I told Johnny Ace, I messaged him, I wouldn't have cared if they didn't let me go. I wasn't going to show up. I wasn't going to do it anymore. I sat back and I tried to be a good girl my whole life. I tried to be the best and be professional and do everything by the book in a respectful way. I just cracked. What a shit show. She was a lot nicer about that than I would have been. Yeah, I mean, there's always situations like that in life or your job or whatever where you just know you're going to get fucked. Right? You know, whether it's a scheduling thing, a meeting you have to be at, a place you have to be, whatever it is, right? And you try to do the right thing. You're like, all right, I'm going I'm going to work on this project. No, you don't have to work on this project. We don't need you for that. Are you sure? Because I can do it, right? No, we don't need you for it, right? But you just know. You just know in the back of your mind, I'm going to get fucked. They're going to need me. I'm going to have to do it anyway, right? It's always some bullshit. I like that she didn't go on social media to make a big spectacle about it. She just said, fuck it, I'm out of here. I'm not going to go bashing the company on social media or anything like that. She wasn't even on the main roster that long. And she realized, if they're pulling this stuff on me now, I've only been on TV maybe 2 months at that point, 2 or 3 months. They're pulling this shit on me now. What are the next 3 years going to look like? And then on the differences that she noticed between WWE and AEW, she said, I love it here because I have so much freedom. I feel like I have creative freedom. I feel like I can express myself more naturally. I feel like WWE is a bit of the land of no. Some people call it that. You're just really told no a lot. A lot of your ideas, your creativity is shut down. Not always, not for everybody, but just for some people. I should put it out there, just for some people. Some people just obviously can hack it, and that's awesome. More power to them. But yeah, it's really hard to compare. It's really hard to compare the two, except that I just feel like I can work more organically here. I'm less uptight, therefore I can perform better. And on Dynamite on Wednesday, they were already teasing a future title match with her and Thunder Rosa. I'm glad she ended up in AEW.